Here we go, Big East Hoops fans. After 211 days, the countdown is over. Big East Shootaround is the appetizer to opening night. Happy opening night to all of you. John Fanta with you from New York City. And it's two of the best words in sports, right? Opening night. And in the Big East, big things are expected this season. We've got plenty to come on today's show. Georgetown head coach Patrick Ewing will preview the Hoyas season. Big East preseason player of the year Miles Powell will talk about Seton Hall and handling those high expectations. And you're going to hear from all 10 teams in less than 3 minutes in a new segment we like to call Sound Check. But first, let's look at the Big East as a whole. Last year, a retooling season. The league was young. That isn't the case anymore. You've got 34 out of a possible 50 starters back. You have some of your top scorers, 10 of the top 17 scorers in the conference are returnees in this league. And you look around the conference, you've got several top-tier players. Just now, the Wooden Award watch list coming out, and you've got 7 of the 50 from the Big East. Creighton's Tyshawn Alexander, Villanova's Sadiq Bey, Providence's Alpha Diallo, Butler's Kamar Baldwin, Marquette's Marcus Howard, Xavier's Najee Marshall, and Seton Hall's Miles Powell. This league, since 2013, has sent over 5 teams on average to the NCAA tournament. And this season, you can make a case for 6, 7 teams to go dancing, and I think that 8 of the 10 have realistic expectations that they can make the NCAA tournament. You also think about last year, folks. There were programs that are synonymous with the big dance that didn't make it. Xavier, they're seeking their 13th NCAA tournament appearance in the last 15 years. Providence, they had made 5 consecutive big dances, and the Friars missed out last year, and that's hung with them, now looking for 6 out of 7. Butler missing the NCAA tournament after a 5-year run through consecutive seasons. So you think about the different teams, Butler, Providence, Xavier, even Creighton, who's won 20-plus games in 19 of the last 21 years. Those programs, they know how to make the NCAA tournament. And there were a lot of programs on the bubble. Last year, youth had a lot to do with that. You've got the amount of starters back, and you've got teams that are hungry to bounce back, and 10 of your top 17 scorers from a year ago. That says to me that this league is going to be a monster this season, and it all starts tonight with 7 of the 10 teams in action across the Fox Sports networks. An FS1 doubleheader highlights it with number 12 Seton Hall hosting Wagner inside Walsh Gym. You get your first look at this Pirates team, which has their highest expectations in 2 decades. That'll be followed by Army and Villanova on FS1. What else do I have my eyes on? Well, I'm interested by Providence because it's Luwan Pipkin's debut, and the UMass grad transfer figures to alleviate the pressure off David Duke and A.J. Reeves. How does that backcourt mesh? Got my eyes on that. Then I look at Loyola Maryland and Marquette. Marcus Howard's last first. Last time he'll open up a season, and for him, he's 45 points away from 2,000. Folks, in the Big East, you can assume nothing. Could Marcus Howard go for 45 tonight? Look, he's gone for the 50-burger before. You just never know how things will pan out. Here's what we do know. Villanova's at the top of the Big East. They have won the last 3 Big East tournament titles, and until someone takes it from them, it's theirs. Sure, Seton Hall's the preseason number 1, but preseason expectations, they go out the window starting at 6:30 tonight, and the Villanova Wildcats have Jermaine Samuels and Colin Gillespie leading them. Here's how they'll look to get another Big East title in 2019-20 as we caught up with them. Jay, the formula for success these last 6 seasons has been powered by juniors and seniors. And this year, you don't have one high-impact senior on this roster, but you do have one of the top recruiting classes in the country. How do you accelerate their growth?
I'm trying to figure that out, John, to be honest. We like to really count on our older guys to mentor the young guys, you know. And not having the seniors and a couple of our juniors not having as much experience, it's really been left on the freshmen and kind of the coaching staff to do it on their own. And they're doing a pretty good job, you know. Brian Antoine, as everybody knows, he has not been able to practice yet. having reconstructive shoulder surgery. But the rest of the guys are coming on pretty well. And Jeremiah Robinson-Earl seems to be fitting in really well. Justin Moore. Chris Archidiakono's giving us good minutes. Eric Dixon's doing a good job. So it's going to be the challenge of our seasons. How quickly can we get those guys to be effective Villanova basketball players?
What about Jeremiah Robinson-Earl, the Big East preseason freshman of the year, makes him such a strong fit?
You know, basketball IQ, and similar to Jalen Brunson. I don't want to compare them basketball-wise, but I mean, just an old soul. You know, he's just really mature about his approach. Just eats well, gets enough rest, hydrates, picks up everything in practice immediately. He's really well prepared for college basketball.
Your head coach, Jay Wright, said that you've become a better playmaker in the offseason. What in particular have you worked on as a playmaker?
I think I just adjusted to having the ball in my hands more. I feel like I've always been able to make plays, but just trying to get in the lane more, create for myself around the rim, and then get in the lane and get other guys' shots as well. I know I could get a three off here and there when I need to, but just being able to mix it up, get other guys' shots, and get myself shots around the rim.
One of the highlights of this preseason, Justin Moore delivering 39 points against North Carolina in the exhibition. Why is he making this immediate impact?
Just his concentration, his attention to detail. He does all the little things for us. And he was playing point guard that day. He was in that position. He's really good at creating his own shot, getting himself shots, but he did a great job in ball screens, getting other guys shots. So he just did a great job overall running the team that day.
You've got Sadiq Bey as well, sophomore, who's named to the Julius Erving Award watch list. What's he done from year 1 to year 2 that you're noticing as a difference now?
Kind of like the same thing as me, becoming more of a playmaker, having the ball in his hands a lot more. I've seen him grow tremendously from last year, just being able with his catch and shoot ability, and then create for other guys, create for himself in the post, mid-range. He's done a lot this offseason, so he's gotten a lot better.
When you bring in a top 25 ranked recruiting class in America, and these freshmen are being counted on from the get-go, how do you try to help accelerate their growth?
You know, just by practice, you know, just give them little tips, you know, what to see, what not to do, and, you know, let them also feel it out. I think that's the best thing to do for them is just, you know, they got to get a feel for it in practice, in games.
Right behind you right now, it's Demir Cosby-Roundtree. What's that guy bring to the table?
A lot. Rebounding, defense, blocking shots, everything. Everything we need.
How special is that bond you have with him as well as Colin, the 3 juniors?
It's a special bond. Ever since we walked in here, we all gelled, and, you know, we all had to bring a little bit to the table, so, you know, those are my best friends for life.
You just said you like to give those freshmen some tips here and there. What's a big tip that you've given them?
You know, just keeping a positive attitude. You know, it's not easy for everybody, you know, when, you know, turning the ball over, making a mistake, but just sticking with it. You know, it's part of the process of becoming a good team. So that's the biggest thing is just, you know, think about the long journey, not just what's going on right now.
This group returns just one scorer that was in double figures last year. How do you think you'll be able to score the ball this year?
I think it's going to be really spread out, but I think our defense is what's going to be most important.
Why?
Transition, you know, defense creates offense.
How do you get your group ready? You certainly have a tough non-conference for what is ahead in this monster of a league this season.
Yeah, I think this could be one of the best Big East seasons in a long time. You know, the consistency at the head coaching positions and all the programs, and really experienced teams. And teams, you know, I look at teams like Xavier, Georgetown, Providence, who by the end of they were young teams, but by the end of the season, they were playing like NCAA tournament teams. It just came on late because they were young. Well, those teams are back and they know they're good, you know. And Seton Hall obviously is going to be a great team. And you know, if you look at if DePaul was the last place team in the league last year, how much better they're going to be, how much confidence they gain playing postseason. I always say it. I believe it. It's the best basketball conference in the country because top to bottom, anybody in this conference could beat anyone in the country. Anybody in this conference is capable of winning this conference. You don't find that anywhere else in the country.
Here's the takeaway from that interview with Jay Wright. It's that you had teams at the end of last season playing far better than who they were in November and December. But here's the thing, folks. That's why those teams ended up coming just short of the NCAA tournament. For Providence, you think about Creighton, Xavier really comes to mind. Xavier won 8 of their final 11 games last year and were a top 25 defensive team in the country. But you get judged by what you do in November and December more than anything sometimes, because that's the part of your schedule that you control. For the Big East, what they were at the end of last year, those teams, now they carry that momentum into this season. That just goes back to experience wins in March. It wins this time of year, and it matters in this sport more than anything. So you heard, this conference looks like it could be in for one of its best seasons. The Dean Jay Wright just said that. Let's hear from all 10 teams in the new segment on Shootaround. Sound check.
Before I came here, you wouldn't believe me, but this was my plan, like to come in and take over and like help us win, you know, like be a big part of our success, you know. So this has been the plan before I came here, since high school.
Spots are interchangeable on this team. If I could play the 2, he could play the 1. I mean, you got a guy like Sadiq and Jermaine, they could play 1 through 5. Cole can play 1 through 5. So we have a lot of interchangeable spots on this team, and guys are able to make plays in different positions. So it's going to be fun to keep growing with these guys and keep learning.
I think I just give the team a lot of energy. The program itself, I give what it's known for. It's grittiness, it's toughness, and just will to win. I feel like I come to a strong team, and I can contribute to a team this year, help them win.
Just trying to get our chemistry right and understand that everybody on our team is going to have to sacrifice. And if you're not willing to sacrifice, then we won't win. And if we are willing to sacrifice things, then we have a chance to be a pretty good team.
I learned so much, you know, having vets like Shamari, Marvin Clark, Justice Simon, they taught me a lot, you know. Made the smooth transition coming from junior college to St. John's. Playing in the Big East was great. Great teams I never thought I played against. Villanova, Marquette, big-time names. And, you know, I'm definitely more prepared and trying to prepare the younger guys on the team for this year.
I don't think there's any question, John, that, you know, the fact that we came up short last season, probably by just a game or two, and when you consider how some of the games ended, you know, we let some games get away in the closing seconds and in the last possessions. And I think what it's taught this group is that every possession matters, and we have to take that to the practice floor every day. And, you know, as we get closer to game time, making sure that we're really working out some of the small problems we had a year ago.
We want to be able to finish what we started. We started off the year last year really good, top 10, you know, winning a lot of games in a row. But just at the end of the year, you know, we just didn't have it, and that's something that's motivating us to this day.
We have a lot more talent than we have had since I've been here, and it's going to be all predicated on how well we adjust, come together as a team, share the ball, and how much improvement we're going to do on the defensive end.
To remain focused, don't let like the rankings get to our head. Just make sure we have the same mindset going into every game. To be hungry. Make sure we do all the little things on the court.
You know, when you get a 3 for 3, you got to put the threes up and put them down. No, that's what it's 2.
Like,
hold it like this. Hold it like this.
Yeah, good job, bro. That's the whitest. I got the threes up now, AJ Reeves. The threes are up. The Providence Friars open up their season on the Fox Sports Networks. Here coming up tonight, 7 Eastern time on FSN, part of 7 games across Fox Sports tonight. Thinking about the Big East further, all 10 teams are in the KenPom Top 100. That tells you everything you need to know about the depth of this league this season from top to bottom. We might see tiers break things up. I think you could talk about Seton Hall, Villanova, potentially Xavier. But Providence could be a Big East regular season title contender. Matt Norlander has said that. And in the middle of this league this year, there's no rhyme or reason. It is like a Rubik's Cube. No off nights. Nothing like that in this league this year, because I think even DePaul has a 7 or 8 man Big East rotation For the first time since reconfiguration in the Big East, it just feels like that with the talent they've been able to bring in. One of the most fascinating storylines in this conference is Georgetown. Why? Because Patrick Ewing found the bricks for a foundation last season with James Akinjo and Mac McClung in the backcourt and the forward in Josh LeBlanc, who he doesn't run plays for because of LeBlanc's motor. The key for Georgetown, can they improve defensively? You heard in sound check, that's Patrick Ewing's focus. He hopes that NC State transfer Omer Yurtseven can help on the interior defensively. The Hoyas allowing 78 points per game last year. That was the most in the Big East. If they flip that script, good things are going to happen. Let's hear from the legend himself, though. Patrick Ewing with us on Shootaround. We're previewing the Georgetown Hoyas season and walking and talking with a third-year head coach, Patrick Ewing. Pat, thanks for the time here today.
My pleasure.
Let's walk around this fine facility. A little different from when you were playing in the 80s.
A lot different. Back then, we were over in McDonough Arena. Now we're here in the Thompson Center. We've definitely taken a huge step up.
How vital is this for recruiting?
It's vital for not only recruiting, but it's for everything. I think that every program now is trying to have an amazing building like this to help, and I think that it definitely helps us with what we're trying to accomplish.
Entering this third season, what have you learned about yourself in this role from the first two that you try to apply here in year three?
When you're coaching, you don't really think about, or critiquing yourself. It's all about trying to, get your team to be the best team that they can. And that's still my process. For me to be the best coach I can, learn from any mistakes that either I have made in my first 2 years, or just to continue to help us get to be the best team that we can possibly be.
This group, what stands out to you about them that can lead them to success?
Well, that's yet to be determined. We have a lot more talent than we've had since I've been here, and it's going to be all predicated on how well we adjust, come together as a team, share the ball, and how much improvement we're going to do on the defensive end.
You bring the unique perspective because you played in this league, and while it's different in terms of the teams that are in it now, there's some of that blood that originated with the Big East back in 1979. Right. But now you're coaching in this league. How did the two tie together?
Well, I think it's great that I played here. I think I have both. I can have both perspectives as a player and also as a coach. And that's what, is different between myself and a lot of the other coaches, is that the fact that I played it at a high level.
You have said before that with Josh LeBlanc, your sophomore forward, you don't have to run anything for him because he does it all off his efforts.
Right.
In a day and age when every player walks in thinking they're the best player on the floor, how special is that to have him play the role he does?
Oh, it's very special. He impacts the game in so many different ways. His effort on the offensive glass, the defending a person, getting a tip in here and there, running on the break. His effort it's contagious, and I wish I had 2 or 3 more guys that can do the things that he can do effort-wise.
When you're a player in the 80s and then in your NBA career with the Knicks, the traditional 5-man was still very much in place. Is there still a place for that in college basketball?
Oh, definitely. To me, there still is. Even though in the NBA and even also in college, you try to spread the floor and get driving areas. But to me, you have to be able to have guys who can dominate in the paint if you want to be successful, along with guys who can put the ball in the basket from the three-point line.
Could you teach anyone how to play inside?
Oh, I think I could. Maybe just a little bit.
Could you teach me how to play inside?
Oh, no. Well, I try to tell guys it's not the size, it's the heart.
Right.
And I've been
and
around. I've been around you for 3 years now, so I know you have the heart.
Patrick Ewing, best of luck this season, Coach.
Thank you, John. Appreciate it.
Number 33 in your program, number 1 in your hearts. That's Patrick Ewing. Great to be joined by the Georgetown legend. And what a storybook script it would be if he could be the one walking through that tunnel. And you think of the CBS Turner March Madness coverage of him leading the Georgetown Hoyas back to the NCAA tournament. And what would be the program's first appearance in 5 years. They need a spark run. The good news is they've got a sophomore class who can provide the essentials for it. Let's turn to the preseason favorite in the Big East, the last team that we will preview here on Shootaround. It's the Seton Hall Pirates. From a personal perspective, this is truly something. I came into Seton Hall as a student, actually, in 2013 and 14, and the program was in the basement, hitting the lowest of lows, especially in the 2014-15 season when things spiraled out of control. And it looked like they were as far away as possible from getting to the top of the mountain in the Big East Conference. Isaiah Whitehead, Angel Delgado, Desi Rodriguez, and Gadeen Carrington laid the bricks for a remarkable turnaround. At the helm of that is Kevin Willard. And Seton Hall might not be able to bring in that 5-star recruit. What they can do is develop talent. And that has come in the epitome of cases with Miles Powell. What the Trenton native has done over the last 3 years is nothing short of outstanding. Once the 250-pound pudgy kid who was an afterthought is now at the front of everybody's minds. And ahead of this most highly anticipated Seton Hall campaign, I caught up with the Big East Preseason Player of the Year to preview the Pirates slate. Last year, at one point you were 6-8 in the Big East, and on the bubble in the NCAA tournament conversation, you found a way to get there. This year, everybody's expecting the NCAA tournament, and they're expecting that you'll be at the top of this conference. Why is this team better?
More experience. I mean, everybody's seen what we can do towards the end of the year last year. We have everybody coming back besides Mike, and I mean, I feel like everybody's gotten older, gotten better, and I feel like we're going to be able to do it what we started to do at the end of the year this year. But we know what we have to do for us to win. I mean, coach is a great coach. He knows what, like I said, he knows what we have to do to win. He knows what places that we should be in, where we should be at on the court and where we shouldn't, who should be taking the shots, who shouldn't. So I mean, we really just run what the head man say, and that's how it goes. I mean, Ike and Rowe, when everyone gets to see how tough they are down there and how good they really are. I mean, it starts with Ike. He's 7'2". I mean, his body is amazing. If you ever seen how fit he is, it's like I said, it's just amazing. So I mean, with him and Rowe battling against each other every day, when they go against other big men, I feel like that's going to be an advantage for us. And I mean, we got Sandro, he's 6'10". Brody, he's 6'8", 6'9". Jared, he got some height on him. I mean, so we're a big team. So when you see us, we have a great size to our depth. So I mean, it should help us throughout the way.
That said, what's the wrinkle or the added dimension that you've put into your game that can both help your team win and get that NBA scout to think, okay, there's something else there?
Yeah, just realizing that scoring the basketball isn't everything. I mean, over the summer, I had a chance to play with the USA team with some other good guys in the Big East. I got the chance to handle the ball there. I was at Chris Paul camp, the top 20 guards in the country. I got to handle the ball over there and just pick from different people and just realize how effective I really am on the court, and that scoring the ball isn't the main thing that I should be worried about when I'm out there. So just being able to get my teams involved, being a better leader, talking a little more, and playing on the defensive end, I feel like is really going to help me and my team this year. They got a little glimpse of what we can do last year. I mean, we still fired up. We didn't really accomplish as much as we wanted to, but everyone's seeing how good we can really be. And I mean, like I said, the younger guys that were freshmen and sophomore now, they're older. And I mean, I feel like Coach has just done a good job over the summer, just building confidence into them. And then, I mean, like I said, I feel like the sky's the limit for us. I'm just trying to let things fall into place. I mean, like I said, I know what I have to do for my team to win. And the main part of my goal this year is just to be a leader, to lead these young guys right, and hopefully to win a Big East championship or a national championship. I'm just blessed to be with this group, and I'm glad I got this group of teammates to finish my college career off with.
Paul defines special, and he and the Pirates lead it off out of the Big East teams in action tonight. 6:30 Eastern Time on FS1, taking on Wagner. Well, here we go, folks. We've waited, and the countdown is over. And for the Big East, there are high expectations. Now, can they meet them? And the biggest thing for this conference this season, look at those 3 teams in the top 25 on the schedule tonight. You get your first glimpse of them and 4 others. Can the conference have depth in March Madness? The goal? Send 3 teams to the Sweet 16. That's the next step that the league looks to take. And this year, they've got 6 or 7 NCAA tournament candidates. That does it for us here. Enjoy the game tonight across Fox Sports. I'm John Fanta saying so long on Big East Shootaround. Happy opening night.